Sir, were you familiar with the underlying facts of what happened here?
I'm familiar that he pulled out a gun and discharged it up in the air.
Were you familiar that it's also alleged that he's pointing the gun at people when he was pregnant?
In the eyes of his pastor, Stephen Rowley is a faithful servant of God who cares for the disabled. But in the eyes of his neighbors, he is a dangerous threat that they want gone immediately. The defense is painting a picture of a misunderstood man who made a foolish mistake with a firearm. Prosecution and the victims see a dangerous escalation that almost ended in tragedy. But everything hinges on a single document Judge Boyd is holding right now. A report from the neighbors that contradicts everything the character witness is about to say. As you watch this, ask yourself, is this a good man who had a bad day, or a dangerous man hiding behind a facade? Let me know your verdict in the comments.
Court is calling 2024 CR 006879, State of Texas versus Stephen Allen Rowley. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Brandon Lopez for Mr. Rowley.
And are you Mr. Rowley? All right. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor.
Any objections, state? Defense?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right. According to the plea bargain agreement, you entered a plea of no contest to count 1 and count 2. And according to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. The state is silent on your applications. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon, and the state is taking some cases into consideration, and there's to be restitution to some of the complainants. All right, state, do you have any witnesses? Defense, do you have witnesses?
We have one witness, Your Honor.
All right, you may call your witness.
Defense calls Aaron Zamora.
Yes. Cap of 7.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. In case I did, it's a cap of 7. All right. All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give would be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I affirm, yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Aaron Zamora.
All right, defense?
Mr. Zamora, how do you know Stephen Rowley and his family?
I know Stephen and his faithful mother, Sister Riley, through Church of Christ, Wall Street Church of Christ. She has been a faithful member, attending twice on Sundays and on Wednesdays, and Stephen has also attended. I was surprised. That's how I know that.
And so you're a minister at the church?
Yes, one of the ministers.
And when you heard about the charges that were leveled against Mr. Riley, were you surprised?
I was very surprised.
And why were you surprised?
He's known the gospel. He's a Christian. He has been baptized back in about 12 years old or so. He knows what right and wrong. I think he was foolish in what he did. He was a stupid act. He didn't realize. I don't think he realized the impact of his actions.
Speaking of the impact of his actions, obviously it impacted the victims, but how has that also impacted Stephen's family?
He lives with his mother. He has a son. His son's mother works, so the little guy stays with Sister Shirley. She is disabled. She's on a walker, and so he assists her with taking care of the little boy and helping her with getting her medications, going to the store. So he has a positive impact at the home.
And now Stephen's mother, Mrs. Rowley, asked you to be here as a spokesperson of the family, correct?
That's correct.
And as that spokesperson, what is the family asking the court to consider?
I would say he knows the Bible. He knows what's right and wrong. I think he was he acted out of foolishness, not realizing the impact. I'm sure he's regretful. He's sorry for his actions. And so I know he's been already incarcerated 6 months or so. I would say mercy, and I don't believe he's a returning offender. I don't think he's had prior such cases like this with him. Mercy and opportunity to show his regretfulness, opportunity to show that he can be a positive role model in the community. I personally, as a minister, I'm gonna get as a mentor, be there for him. And be able to maybe teach him more about the right and wrong, what the word of God says when we encounter difficulties in our communities, violence, etc. Act in an appropriate Christian way.
Thank you, Pastor. Pass the witness.
Any questions?
Sir, were you familiar with the underlying facts of what happened here?
I'm familiar that he pulled out a gun and discharged it up in the air.
Were you familiar that it's also alleged that he's pointing the gun at people who was pregnant?
I think he was waving the gun, for my understanding.
But again, the stipulations that are with the judge right now show that he pointed the gun. Are you aware of that?
Not pointing directly to a person. I don't think he would be foolish enough to point and to shoot at someone. Probably waving it, probably.
So again, you weren't there,
Nope.
but you're all just hearing the second hand from us.
Yes.
All right, nothing to say.
All right, any other questions?
No other questions, John.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming in.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge.
So, if you come forward. All right, so this is what I'm reading in the PSI report. And it's with regards to the complainants. And they're saying that they're okay with him being given probation. They just don't want him around them anymore. Did I misread that?
That is definitely one of the impact statements, Your Honor, but I believe there was a secondary one.
Yes,
All
sir, I believe there's a secondary one.
Okay,
Be on page 4.
page 4.
Other than argument, Your Honor, if at an appropriate time.
Okay, I'll
No other
hear,
witnesses.
unless there are other witnesses. All right, the court will hear argument.
Your Honor, we're here today. Mr. Rowley is taking full responsibility for what the events that happened. In various discussions with Mr. Rowley, he's characterized this as the worst day of his life. He obviously reacted in the worst possible way. He put himself in danger. He put other people in danger, namely the victims. And as a result, he's been here for 6 months. He's never spent any extended amount of time incarcerated. He's from Alabama, but he's lived in San Antonio for about 15 years. Again, he has no previous felony convictions. His highest level of education is 10th grade. He's always had steady work, whether it was Home Depot, Sam's, Chili's, and most recently acting as a security guard 3 months prior to this event. He does primarily take care of his child, the 3-year-old who lives with him and his mother. These last 6 months, he's been unable to provide. He's been unable to visit them. We had motions to reduce bond. We got those reduced, but they still couldn't come up with the money. So he's been here thinking and obviously regretting his actions and hoping and praying for an opportunity to prove to the court and prove to the state of Texas that he is capable of being a law-abiding citizen, to be monitored, and to follow the rules of this court. We are asking for deferred adjudication, Your Honor, and that opportunity.
All right, so what the court doesn't understand, I don't understand how you confronting a neighbor because they had called the police. One, I don't understand why you would go confront them, but I don't understand how that turns into the drawing of a gun. Somebody get me to that place where a complainant has called the police, whether you think they called the police numerous times, rightly or wrong. How do we get to the point where you're charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? How does that escalate to that point?
Your Honor, it's my understanding, and if you want me to answer or you want him to,
Sure.
it's my understanding that there was a feeling of being threatened, and there were several neighbors that were gathering around him. And again, I think that it's good to preface this with right or wrong, and I think in this case wrong. He brought a gun out, and obviously it led to where we're at. That was as poor of a judgment call as possible. Mr. Riley has relayed the same to me, and it led to here.
Okay. All right, and I do understand two of the complainants are saying they want him to have deferred adjudication. One complainant is saying they don't want him to have deferred adjudication. So I do take everything in consideration that I'm reading. The first complainant is saying, send him to prison because then they'll be assured that at least while he's in prison, they won't be back to the apartment, right? So if I were to send him to prison, I don't think people understand about the length of time that people are actually staying in prison. he would be eligible for parole within 3.5 years. If I were to place him on deferred adjudication for 10 years, then he would be under the court's supervision for 10 years, unless I decided to, of course, if I'm still here, unless I decided to revoke him, or unless I decided to terminate him early, he would be under the court supervision for 10 years. He could be on GPS and not allowed to go to that location. So I'm balancing the weight of what the complainants are requesting, and I'm looking at his criminal history. His criminal history consists of possession of a marijuana, where he received 6 days in the Bexar County Jail. Then we have this. So I'll hear argument, State.
State is silent.
Yeah.
I will say though, Judge, that again, based off stipulations, again, he brought a gun to where no one else was armed. He also shot as the police were approaching stipulations. Again, danger to the community, this was an argument between neighbors, but who had just reported it as that was what the issue was.
All right. Defense, the state is silent other than fact issues. So is there anything you wish to add?
I don't think there's anything further to clarify, Your Honor.
All right. So this is what I'll do. Mr. Rowley, I can sentence you to deferred adjudication, in which case it will be for the full 10 years. You will not be released from the Bexar County Jail today because I will be sentencing you to ISF, or I can sentence you to 5 years in the prison. Those are your two options.
ISF.
Hmm?
Take ISF.
All right. And then I see that there was a request for mental health evaluation as well. So we do have mental health issues that are happening in this case as well. And until we can have placements for people who have mental health issues, this is the only thing that the court can do. So the court will sentence you to 10 years deferred adjudication. And counsel, normally I don't do this, but he does need to pay the $1,000 for the family moving. So there's going to be $1,000 restitution. And that's to Frank Hernandez. You're not allowed to visit, to go on the streets of that apartment complex. So there's to be no contact with the Conley Apartments at 5300 Northwest Loop 410. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be ISF cognitive, proof of employment within 30 days of release, no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors, anger management. We're going to do GPS, waive fees, and that will be for tracking. That way we'll know where you are at all times. You understand? There's to be regular reporting. Sorry, I already did regular reporting. There's going to be field visits 1 time per month until further notice. 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to order parenting classes. Once you completed parenting classes, that will be deemed satisfied. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Take in consideration 2024 CR 006874, 2024 CR 006881. No contact with Frank Hernandez, Frank Coronado, Lily Beth Huerta. I'm sorry, Huerta. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. And counts 1 and count 2 will run concurrently. Let me see what the TAP evaluation says. And upon release, there's going to be 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Probation, is there anything else?
Judge, did you mention UA?
Thank you. Regular random UAs or the patch? Anything else, probation? Is there anything else that you need? All right, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Sorry? Because this is a plea, because I followed your plea and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? And you're not allowed to possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. If you are revoked off this probation, you're looking at 20 years in the prison. Do you understand? Not a cap of 7, but 20. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
So, in the end, Stephen Rowley avoids a prison cell today, but he enters a prison of his own making. 10 years of GPS tracking, treatment facilities, and a complete banishment from his own apartment complex. Was this the right call? Would a few years of hard time have been safer for the community, or is a 10-year leash the ultimate punishment for a man who claims he just made a mistake? Drop your thoughts below.